Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Chris by Kristen. Today I'm in the kitchen making everybody's favorite dish, meatballs. It's basically a meatball for every palate. And for all of you who favor creamy, peanut buttery, gingery flavors, these meatballs are for you. Actually, when I first started blogging, this was one of maybe like the first 10 recipes I put on my website, and it's still, 5 years later, it remains one of the top recipes. You can pair them with rice, devour them on their own, whichever way, you're going to enjoy every last drop of that peanut buttery sauce. Let's get to it. Okay, first step, I'm gonna make the meatballs. We're gonna season the meatballs, we're gonna cook the meatballs while the meatballs cook, we're gonna make the sauce, we're gonna bring it all together. It's gonna be fabulous. Okay, so I'm gonna start by making the chicken, which I realize this is not the chicken yet, but the recipe does require 1 egg, and I like to scramble the egg before I pour it in the meat mixture. When I was little and made meatballs with my mom, we would always just dump the egg right in, and I just have always adapted that method, but as I got older, I realized if you scramble it, you get more distribution around the meat. I actually have never made this recipe with pork or beef before, but I feel like turkey would be a good substitute, but I like the chicken. So to 1 large bowl, I'm adding about 1 pound of ground chicken and 1 diced shallot. Then I have about 1/4 cup of cilantro that I'm going to chop. And you also want this to be pretty fine too. Then I'm gonna grate 1 small garlic clove right in there. You can also just mince the garlic, but this helps the garlic sort of really blend right into the mixture. I'm gonna do the same thing with the ginger. The ginger was about 1/2 teaspoon worth. I'm gonna add in about 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce. And finally, I'm putting in those breadcrumbs. Actually, the finally really is the egg. So I'm finally now adding the egg in. Now we're gonna mix. The one thing you have to watch out for is not to overmix. That's sort of like an ambiguous direction. You just wanna combine all the ingredients together, because once you start getting into that paste territory, it's no good. You're gonna get thick, dense meatballs, which nobody wants. A thick, dense meatball. And I hate to break it to you, but your hands are probably the best method on mixing it all together. All done. Okay, so I lined a baking sheet with some parchment paper, and I'm gonna roll these up. Actually, do you guys know this little trick? When you roll meatballs, you put a little bit of oil on your hands, and then it prevents it from sticking to your hands. I'll show you. See? Totally clean. Anyway, I'm going to roll all these up, pop them in the oven at 400 degrees, and then I'm gonna get working on that rich, delicious peanut butter sauce. So the only thing you'll really need for this step is a skillet. I'm using a cast iron, but any sort of large skillet will work. All right, so you're gonna start by adding about a tablespoon of oil. In goes another diced shallot, another teaspoon of fresh ginger, and then I'm going to add about a cup of stock. You can use chicken or vegetable. I'm using vegetable. Add some Thai red curry paste here. I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of that, if I can fit this in. And then you'll want to give that a good mix. Then I'll add about 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. And truly, in my opinion, the crescendo of it all, about 1/4 cup of creamy peanut butter. Try to avoid the chunky. You want a smooth sauce. It's a good whisk. And then I'm gonna just add a squeeze of 1/2 lime to really brighten up that flavor. Okay, perfect timing, because I just finished the sauce and my timer just told me that my meatballs were done after about 15 minutes. And I'm going to add my meatballs into the sauce. So I'm gonna just let these meatballs cook a little bit longer in the sauce, let the sauce reduce, let the flavors combine. It just smells so good. We're almost there. And I'm just going in and sort of coating each piece to slather it in that sauce. So there you have it. These Thai-inspired chicken meatballs in a peanut butter sauce are so good. Every step of the way is packed with a layer of flavor. Flavor in the meatballs, check. Flavor in the sauce, check. It's so good. Can you imagine this sauce over a bed of rice? Or you can just be like me and eat it right out of the pan. I'm really encouraging you to make this tonight, like right now. I can't stop eating it. So if you make this recipe, make sure you let me know in the comments how it turned out. And of course, give me a thumbs up if you like this recipe. I always love to hear from you guys, so let me know what you think. If you like this recipe and want to see more, I drop a new recipe each week, so hit that little bell so you know every single time it's live. I linked the recipe down below, so make sure you check it out. And thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.